Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we re-venturing deep into the Whispering Woods for a tale about a lesson we could all use a little more of. It's the story of Riko the Raccoon and how he went from being the loudest talker to the wisest listener. In the heart of the Whispering Woods, where every little sound told a story, lived a young raccoon named Riko. Now, Riko wasn't mean, not at all, but he was, without a doubt, the loudest resident. He had a big voice, even bigger ideas, and he absolutely loved to share them. The only problem, he had a very tiny talent for listening. It happened all the time. If someone tried to ask him a question, Riko would jump in with his own opinion before they could even finish. Picture this, Oscar the otter, trying to plan a new bridge. Riko, he'd begin. Do you think we should build the bridge over the creek near the big oak? But before Oscar could get the words out, Riko would boom, the big oak is terrible. We must build it near the pine tree. It's way faster. Everyone agrees with me. Of course, no one had agreed with him yet because no one had a chance to speak. He'd do this with everyone. He'd tell Finley the fox, the best hunter in the woods, how to hunt. He'd lecture Mona the mouse on organizing her acorns, even though Mona's pantry was the nicest, most organized pantry you'd ever see. In his mind, Riko thought he was just being helpful, sharing his brilliant ideas. But to his friends, it was just a lot. They often walked away feeling completely unheard and, frankly, a little annoyed. They loved Riko, but his constant interruptions made it hard to feel like their own thoughts mattered. Then, one crisp autumn morning, something strange happened. A thick, confusing fog of forgetfulness rolled into the Whispering Woods. This wasn't your average morning mist. This fog had a peculiar magic. It made everyone forget small, but very important details. Suddenly, no one could remember where their homes were. They couldn't recall which berries were safe to eat and which were poisonous. And most importantly, they forgot where the secret water spring was hidden. Panic started to spread through the woods like wildfire. "Where is my boat?" cried Finley the fox, spinning around in circles. Completely lost. "Which way is the spring?" wailed Mona the mouse, her tiny voice filled with worry. The chatter and confusion grew louder and louder until one voice cut through it all. "Everyone stop!" boomed Riko, his voice as confident as ever. "I know the way! Follow me! I saw a path near the giant boulder yesterday. Let's go!" Without waiting for a response, Riko took off running toward the north side of the woods, absolutely certain he was right. The other animals hesitated for a moment. They weren't so sure about Riko's plan, but the fog was growing thicker by the second, and following a loud, confident voice seemed better than standing still. So, reluctantly, they followed him. They ran and ran for about 10 minutes, Riko leading the charge with loud encouragements. But they didn't find the spring. Instead, they found themselves at the edge of a cold, muddy swamp. "This is wrong, Riko!" cried Oscar the otter, his feet sinking slightly into the murky ground. "This is nowhere near the spring." Riko stood there, his confidence finally wavering. He looked around, completely confused. But I was sure," he stammered. "It was the boulder. I saw it." Finley the fox, trying to stay calm, spoke slowly and clearly. "Riko," he said, "the path to the spring starts near the big patch of glowing moss on the east side, not the boulder on the north side." "No, that's not right," Riko insisted, his old habits kicking in. "I know these woods best." He just couldn't accept that he might be wrong. But then a small, quiet voice piped up from behind Mona the mouse. It was little Sammy the Squirrel. Sammy was so shy, he almost never spoke. Excuse me, Riko," Sammy squeaked, his voice barely a whisper. Everyone turned to look at him. Sammy took a deep breath. But yesterday, when I was hiding nuts, I heard Oscar telling Finley that the glowing moss only appears after a long rain." He continued, a little more bravely, "And the path always starts near the 3 oddly shaped pine cones next to the whispering willow." Complete silence. Riko stopped talking. For the first time, he was truly listening. He had never really paid attention to Sammy before, or to the small details others mentioned. But Sammy's information was so specific, so precise, it had the ring of truth. Riko looked at Oscar. Oscar nodded slowly. "I tried to tell you something like that earlier, Riko," Oscar said gently, "but you interrupted me when I started talking about the creek and the oak." Then Riko looked at Finley. Finley added, "The pine cones are easy to forget, but they're the real path markers." Sammy's right. The weight of his mistakes settled on Riko. He finally stopped trying to talk and just listened. He took all the quiet details he had just heard, the willow tree, the pine cones, the true location, and put them together in his head. The pieces fit perfectly. I see," Riko said, his voice softer than any of them had ever heard it. "I am so sorry. I talked over all the true answers. I was too loud to hear what really mattered." With a new sense of purpose, Riko, now truly listening to the quiet directions Sammy had remembered, turned them all around. He led them back across the swamp, carefully guiding them through the fog. He asked Sammy to point out the whispering willow, and sure enough, right beside it, they found the 3 oddly shaped pine cones. Just a minute later, they heard the gentle trickle of water and found the cool, clear spring, safe and sound. As the animals drank and celebrated, feeling the fog in their minds finally lift, Riko walked over to little Sammy. "Sammy," he said, looking the small squirrel in the eye, "you saved us. Your quiet listening was more important and more powerful than all my loud shouting." From that day forward, Riko changed. He still had his big, booming voice, but he learned when to use it and, more importantly, when to be silent. He learned that being a leader wasn't about being the one who talks the loudest, but the one who listens the best. He started asking questions and waiting for the full answer. He discovered that Finley, Mona, Oscar, and even shy little Sammy had incredible wisdom to share. The Whispering Woods became a more harmonious place, all because its loudest resident finally learned the power of listening. What a beautiful story, right? It just goes to show that sometimes the most important things are said in the quietest voices. We just have to be willing to listen. Thanks so much for watching with me today. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tailies from the woods. See you next time!